Here we are, another live. Okay. So, back on the money topic, because I have a plan. Well, sort of. We'll see where it goes. But basically, we've been talking a lot about money the past, week, 2 weeks maybe. I have no idea. But it's been a topic. It's been fun. I've been loving your responses. It's been amazing. And so this week I decided I'm going to shift the gears a little bit, shift away from the money beliefs, and we're going to tap into human design and incorporate human design with money and how certain fears show up when it comes to money. Now, thing is that some of those fears may not actually belong to you, and some of them do. So this is where we're going to go with it, talking about the fear gates. And so I am going to be tapping into this in my stories. My hands are doing a lot of talking today. But before we do that, the whole thing with human design, if you don't know anything about human design, is that your strategy and your authority is what comes, it's basically where to start. And so human design is kind of like an astrology chart, but a little bit different. It takes your date of birth. It takes the date of birth, the location, and then it creates this chart for you that combines your date of birth and then a date that was about approximately 4 months before you were born. And it takes where the planets were at both of those two times, and it creates this chart. It is a combination of the I Ching, the Kabbalah, the astrology system, the chakra system, and quantum physics. So that's in a nutshell. You can get your chart at mybodygraph.com. If you have any questions about it, if you're very lost and confused, send me a DM or write in the comments, whatever feels best for you. And I'll just guide you through it a little bit. So strategy and authority is the most important. And today we're going to talk about strategy. I am going to tap into the authorities a little bit slowly throughout this week, because I don't want to start bringing up the fear gates if you don't know what your strategy authorities are. And if you're just tapping into your fear gates without not really tapping into your strategy and authority, because your fear gates depend on your strategy and authority as well. So it all goes down to that. So there are 5 types in human design. We got the manifestors, the Mani-Gens, manifesting generators, projectors, and reflectors. Each have their own strategy. The Mani-Gen and generators have a similar strategy, but the manifesting generators is slightly different. So we'll talk about manifestors. Manifestors, they are the trailblazers. So their strategy is, if you are a manifestor, it is to inform, because you are here to initiate, and you initiate things basically, you get the ideas from source. You're the only type that can initiate, but because you have a very closed aura, you need to give people a heads up. You need to inform your audience. You need to inform the people you're with. You need to inform your loved ones. Because if you didn't, then the vibe wouldn't be so great. It wouldn't be received very well. And then that's when you can get into your not self theme of anger. And so informing is really important for a manifestor. So that's your strategy. Give people a heads up. Let them know what's happening. If you need space on your own to create, and you're living with your partner, let them know, do not disturb me. I'm in my creative zone. Inform. So then that way they actually don't disturb you, and then you don't get angry because they disturbed you. So very simple. Mani-Gens, manifesting generator. So you are a blend of a manifestor and a generator. So your strategy is a blend of the both. Because it kind of goes in steps. So first thing first, to respond. So as a generator, so I'm going to talk about the generator part, and then we're going to go into the Mani-Gen. So as a generator, you are meant to respond, but you're meant to respond to your environment, not your mind. And because human design, we are not made to make decisions from our mind. We are meant to make decisions from our authority. And so you are here to respond to your environment. So this is seeing a sign, in a store that is looking for a dishwasher. That is something for a generator to respond to. Yes or no, do I want to do this? Or someone suggesting something. Like, oh, it'd be a good idea, like, if you do this, or how about that? And then as a generator, you can respond yes or no. It is always in relation to your environment and not the ideas you have in your mind. And so generators, they always need something to respond to. There is, like, the universe sends you tons of things to respond to all the time. It is just a matter of, like, actually paying attention and then using your authority, which on the most part is your sacral authority, and your gut reaction of yes or no. Does that feel right? Do I desire to do this? There are other authorities as well that I will tap into tomorrow or the next day, whenever I feel called to. And so that is, like, really important for generators. Now, Mani Gen, you do have to respond. So you do have to see what's in your environment and respond to that. So you take the universe's, like, breadcrumbs and the nuggets that the universe sends you, and then you respond. But instead of going ahead as a generator and launching it, or, like, putting it out in the world, you still have that manifestor part that you need to inform. So still giving the people a heads up. So if you look at, like, let's say, people in your audience, you run your own business and everybody in your audience is like, oh, like, I would love for you to do this program. Like, it would be so much fun. You're so knowledgeable. And they're like, oh my God, yes, this program sounds so much fun. And so as a Mani Gen, you're like, hey, cool. Like, I'm going to go ahead and do this. But then you want to inform them, let them know that you are working on it. So this is like showing behind the scenes footage, kind of giving them a little bit of the nuggets. Whereas a generator, you can just go ahead and launch it because of the aura. The aura for Mani Gen and generator is just slightly different. So that is, like, one example that you will find in terms of what's it called? I'm just, wow. One example that you'll find in terms of, like, being a Mani Gen. And so, yes, so that's that. So now we're going to go to projectors. So projectors are here. We have a very penetrating aura. I'm a projector. And so for us, we need to wait to be invited in. And so because we see things a little bit differently than everybody else, and we see things like we are the guides, so we are here to guide people. It's just that people need to ask us for, like invite us in like a vampire, invite us in, be like, well, what do you think? And, like, what should I do? And so this can look at it like just as simple as that, as a question of, like, what do you think? What should I do? Or it could be also, like, the fact that, like, hey, here on Instagram, my followers, the invitation is already there. So this is why I'm like, I don't need an invitation to talk about what I want to talk about. The invitation's already there. You follow me, the invitation's there. If for some reason you don't jam with me, you unfollow me. And I see that happen a lot, like, where followers come and go. And that's okay. That's all good. I know that it is, like, projectors are not meant to guide everyone, even though as much as I would love to guide every single person in the world, we are not meant for that. We don't have the energy for that. And so the projectors, it is really important to wait for the invitation. If we give guidance or if you give advice without the invitation being there, then it won't land well at all. And trust me, I know. And then that usually happens where, because it doesn't land, because we're not feeling seen or heard, then that can bring us to our not self beam of bitterness. And been there, done that. Being bitter sucks. And I'm still learning the whole, like, sometimes, like, wait for the invitation, because sometimes there are times where I really want to help people, and I'm like, no, I see what you're going through. I want to help you. But it's like, it's kind of like I have to, like, bite my tongue almost sometimes and be like, don't say anything. And then, like, or sometimes I'll add the invitation, be like, would you like my advice? So it could be challenging at times as a projector. So that's a projector. the strategy. And then we got reflectors. So reflectors, a reflector basically samples, like their aura samples everybody else's aura. And so they take a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Basically all their centers are open or undefined, and their whole idea is like, because they work with the transits, and so they really do work a lot with the transits, like all types do, but more so with them, because in order for them to make a decision, they need to wait a entire lunar cycle. So like 30 days approx to make a decision. Because if you are a reflector, you're basically going through the waves. Like there's some days that you might be like, hell yes for a decision. Other days, like you're like, no, wait, no, that doesn't feel right. And usually about after 30 days, you get a little bit more clarity as to, what it is that, like you want to, what decision you want to make. And then also with reflectors, it is important for you to be in the right environment. If you are a reflector, your environment is key, like where you live, like who you hang out with, like which places you go and visit, and where do you go and spend your time. It needs to feel good for you. As if it doesn't, your not self theme is disappointment. So this is like, I'm going to end it right here. This is like a little bit of like a mini crash course on human design, kind of get you started, just to get a taste of it. And then this week I'm going to go into the fear gate. So this is where I am going to be very interactive with you on my Instagram stories. So, like feel free to like send me your chart, or feel free to send me your birthday. And then like we can really, so then I can really just like guide you. And so this is me creating invitation to guide you through my Insta story. So if you don't respond, then the invitation is not there for me to specifically talk about certain elements of your chart, for example. And so as a projector, I would love invitations, so let me know. And yeah, this is where we're going to go this week. So we're going to go look at those fears, because I do see how fear gates can relate to money, and there is ways to work with those fears, because the fears in the fear gates, the ones that do belong to you, there's a way to walk with those fears, and there's a way to work through that conditioning to not let them be the driver, for you to be the driver, for your authority to be the driver, your intuition to be the driver, not your fears. So I'm excited to tap into this. Here's a little bit of a taste of what's going to happen this week. I'm just going to be following my intuition, and I'm going to be posting or asking questions as the week goes, when it feels right, just as I have been doing. And yeah, that's it. So hope you enjoyed this live. I will speak to you tomorrow. Bye.